Well, welcome back to another edition of Grindhouse Resurrection, or 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, or whatever. I've been smoking weed all day, so please excuse my lack of comprehension of anything right now. But anyway, I was in a Peckinpah kind of day today. So I remember going back 1977, they announced the new Peckinpah film was coming out. This was the film, Cross of Iron, a war film set on the Russian front with German soldiers, and the only repeat performers from the Peckinpah, entourage were James Coburn, David Warner, and Senta Berger. Also starred James Mason and Maximilian Schell. Coburn is leading a platoon of bedraggled, beaten German soldiers on the Russian front, and there's all kinds of battle stuff going on. This new commander comes in, Stransky, played by Maximilian Schell, who's a Prussian prick who only wants to get the coveted Cross of Iron. And the whole thing is, when the first battle breaks out, he's ordered to lead a counterattack, but he don't have the fucking balls. So it's Steiner, Coburn's character's friend, the lieutenant who leads the charge and winds up getting himself bayoneted to death for his trouble. Stransky also has two soldiers under his little thumb because he found out that they are basically lovers and uses that for leverage over them. So anyway, when Stransky chickens out during the counterattack, Steiner is the only one who can basically not corroborate the story that, he led these men into battle, because he didn't. And that causes a major problem because Steiner needs him gone. And to achieve that, he cuts communications off with his squad because they're told to retreat, leaving them out with the advancing Russians. Things get a little bit grim when they basically kill their way back to the lines, but they find this outpost manned by a bunch of Russian women, and they take it over, and one of Steiner's platoon tries to orally rape this woman in a barn, and she bites his cock off, and you see the blood spurt and everything else. But in the meantime, they manage to shank one of his guys, so he basically disarms the women, takes their uniforms because they need this to sneak through the front, and leaves the dying guy with the bit cock off to be killed by the women. Being that Stransky's plan didn't work, he tells his little, lieutenant guy to make sure that Stransky doesn't get through the lines. So the lie is spread that they're bringing in these Russian prisoners who aren't really Russians anyway or something. But there's an attack, and basically almost all of Steiner's squad is machine gunned to death. Steiner, of course, machine guns the shitbag lieutenant, and then goes looking for Stransky. Now the Russians are advancing, and Steiner confronts Stransky and goes, now you're going to go out to where the Iron Crosses are, and forces him out the door into battle. Stransky is fired on by this young Russian boy soldier. He trips, Coburn laughs, and the film ends. Well, it might seem strange that the film would end at that point, but the backstory is even stranger. The film was financed by a West German pornography guy who made films starring his wife. How cool. But anyway, Peckinpah was promised a lot and given nothing. He wanted 4 tanks, he got 2. 1 didn't work. Now when you watch these battle scenes, you will notice that Peckinpah is one hell of a director, because with that 1 tank he makes it seem like there's 6 of them. The other thing was they were running out of money. The money wasn't coming in. Basically this producer was trying to gauge people that pony up some money by telling them that we have David Warner and James Mason here and whatever. Didn't work. Wound up that Peckinpah had to shell out a lot of his own money to pay the technical crew. Trying to think the ending thing. The reason the ending thing was so short was basically they had no money and they were running out of film. So when Maximilian Schell tripped and fell, they couldn't reshoot that, so they left it in, and when Coburn was laughing at the irony of the whole thing, it ended. And when I look back at this, I mean, this was one hell of a war film, not in the sense of, rah, rah, we were going to win thing. It was just as grim and nasty as All Quiet on the Western Front. And it's one of Peckinpah's sort of less known films because the distribution is very shaky, but this just came out. Trying to think who put this. It says Hen's Tooth Video, but it was, damn. It's Hen's Tooth Video. They got it. I don't know where they got the print from. The print looks pretty good considering no prints exist. Good film, but like I said, this just came out. I just ordered this and just checked it out this afternoon. So really cool. It's definitely worth a look if you're a Peckinpah fan, which I am a big Peckinpah fan. And it was just interesting to go back and see this because I hadn't seen it in God since. I mean, I think it came out on a VHS tape that was all murky and shit, but basically I haven't seen it taxed since '77. It still packs a wallop. And like I said, if you're looking for a rah-rah war film, you're not going to see it. But if you're looking for a film filled with human drama and exploding stuff and, guys bonding, like Steiner trying to take care of his platoon and keep all these guys alive and shit, it's really good. So definitely worth checking out. Another thing is that this weekend we're probably finishing up the Gunfighters of the Drunken Master Big Book. What I did was my girl Lorena is putting all 3 books into one with a prologue I just wrote. And the interesting thing is that in her going over the original manuscripts that I wrote and the actual printed material, there were huge discrepancies. Things were left out, things were jumbled, whatever. I don't want to get into that whole deal right now, but all I can tell you is if you've even read any of the old Gunfighters books, you haven't read them because this is a whole new ball game. It's going to have a nice wraparound cover drawn by Gregory Giordano. The original artwork for the second book, drawn by Colin Rogers, will be in the middle of it, and also a drawing of one of the main characters, Nydia, by James Nestor. That will also be in there. So it's going to be really a good book. I always wondered why this thing never went anywhere, and I think it was just because of the way it was put out so haphazardly. But all I can say is my late friends Gary Kent, Gary Clark, Jack Ketchum, some other people, they all loved it. They all saw a movie in it. They wanted to succeed. So it's getting a second chance thanks to my good friend Marina. And we're working on this, and it might be wrapped up by this weekend. And I don't know what the cover price is going to be, but when it's done, I will have print copies for sale here, as well as we'll have them online with Two Fisted Tales, because that's already up there. So things are looking good, and there's more things coming down the road. There's also another magazine coming out called Cinema Macabre by Dennis Daniels, which I think is debuting on Amazon this week. And there's an interview with me in it and some other cool shit, so check that out too. So that's our show for today. We'll catch you on Monday, and don't forget to tune in to see the crazy old man again on Wednesday. So until then, stay safe. We'll catch you on the flip side.